Welcome back to Fitness Week. I know the last couple lessons have laid down a wonderful groundwork for you to get started in 2017, but today we're going to talk about one of the most important things that you can do to improve your health and your fitness. You see, the workouts, we take care of that for you, but the hardest part, the thing that you've got to do the most work in, is the food. You've got to eat well. And I know that can be really challenging for a lot of people. A lot of people, they skip breakfast, they struggle with that. They struggle with going out to eat with their coworkers. They struggle with running a family and eating healthfully. They struggle with weekends. They struggle with drinking too much alcohol. The beautiful part about it is that all of these things are overcomable. You can find strategies that will make your life easier and you'll see more success. A lot of the things that you'll see when it comes to food, though, are crazy diets, things that are really difficult to do. Juice cleanses, this, just funky thing, that. And you know what? Those things will work for about maybe 20 days, 30 days, as long as you stay on that fancy diet. But as soon as you stop, you're going to regress into these habits and into these patterns that got you where you are. The reason I feel so confident with these habits is that I've talked to the best specialists. I've worked with people who have implemented these strategies and it's worked for them. And I've also implemented it in my own life and I've seen the strategies work out for me. So I'm going to share these 5 strategies with you and we're going to go ahead and head into. Oh wait, before I go into the 5 steps to better nutrition, I got to tell you something really important. And I mentioned this at the very beginning, but the one key thing that you've got to do, the one thing that's going to guarantee your success or guarantee your failure is this. The systems that we teach you will only work if you work the systems. What I mean is you got to do some work. It's going to be hard. There are going to be things that make you uncomfortable. But don't worry, I'm going to be there the whole way. I'm going to hold your hand through it and we're going to be successful together. So are you ready for the 5 tips? Number 1, avoid dieting. Dieting, it's one of those words that got really popular. I'm not sure because probably because that's the biological way to talk about the food that a creature eats. You know, you talk about the diet of the gorilla or whatever. And somehow it turned into an ing word, right? A doing word. So I'm going on a diet, I am dieting. The sad part about that is that when you're dieting, you're not living a true life. You're not really leading habits that lead you towards success. What I want you to focus in on is not necessarily dieting, because diets are things you go on and you go off. This is a lifestyle. A lot of times people ask me, hey Keon, for how long am I going to have to work out and eat well? And my response always is, well, how long do you have? You see, diet, the eating well, eating healthy food, and working out, those are things that are going to stay with you for the rest of your life. The minute you stop doing those things and regress back to your old habits, that's the time where you're going to start regressing back into your old habits and you're going to start gaining weight and not feeling so good. So what I want you to focus in on is don't diet, focus on habits, focus on change, and focus on leading a healthy lifestyle. Number 2, cut out all sugars and processed foods. Look, I like sugar and I like processed food as much as the next guy, but man, the minute I eat those is the minute I know I did something bad for my body. Sugar, it kicks up insulin levels, it messes with your hormones. It's one of the worst things that you can do for your body is eat a lot of sugar. Now, processed foods is full of sugar, it's full of chemicals to keep that food stable, it's full of fats that are created by humans that were never meant to eat. So the more processed foods you eat, the more your liver is going to work, the more your internal organs are going to have to work to strain out all the chemicals. And that makes it really hard to lose fat. So if you really truly want to lose fat, build muscle, and feel good, cut out the sugar and cut out the processed foods. Number 3, watch your portion sizes. Now this is one thing that I think a lot of Americans do is we fill whatever plate that we have. So if we're going to have a plate this big, we're going to fill it up. If we're going to have a plate this big, we're also going to fill that up. So whatever the plate size you have, you're going to go to that capacity. And we also have been taught by our parents that you eat what you take. You take what you eat. there is no waste in a family, and that's a common, I think, American trait. Is we have this we have this thing in our past that said, you know what, you got to eat it all because that is what you've that's what you've taken. There's a saying, waste not, want not, and that is extended to our eating. Now, we live in abundance here in America and across the world in many places, and we've gotten to that point of eating too much. So my recommendation here, and the habit I want you to take on as number 3, is to start with small portions, because it's always easy to go back and get more, but it's impossible, well, near impossible, to take out. So start with small portions, start with smaller plate sizes, and you're going to see your waistline reduce, you're going to see body fat reduce, and you're going to feel so much better. There's an idea that, you know, I have to eat until I'm full. But really the idea is stop when you're not so full, right? When you're not hungry but not yet full, there's this place of satisfaction that I want you to hit, and that requires eating a little bit slower, and eating until you're not, and taking less food. Number 4, eat whole foods. Now what I mean by whole foods is foods that have been picked, like an orange, an apple, things that are closer to the source. So a piece of meat as opposed to sausage, lean beef, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, things like that are actual food as opposed to things that are derivatives of food. So what I'm going to do for you is at the bottom of the page is a download link to what we call the Warrior 20. So it's a checklist of 20 foods that research has gone into, and practical examples have been created. Many practical examples people have used this checklist to be successful and to eat well. So follow that checklist, because when you do that, when you eat those 20 foods, you're going to feel better, you're going to have more energy, you're going to lose fat, build muscle, and feel good. That's really what we're all after, right? So when we start focusing on the real food, we're giving our body what it needs, as opposed to some creation of man, right? Something that we've made up that maybe not so good for us. So, number 5. Follow the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule states this: eat well 80% of the time, 20% of the time, that's for you. That's for your cheats. Okay, so let's use an example of, let's say I have 3 meals per day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Multiply that by 7, right? That's 7 days in the week. I come out with 21 meals. Now, I'm no math wizard, so we're going to pull out our handy dandy calculator, and I'll do the math for you. So 21 times 0.2 is going to be 4.2. That means there are 4.2 splurges across the course of a week that you can have. So if you want to have a glass of wine, you just count one of that as one of your splurges. So let's say Friday night you're going to go out and eat out with the girls or go out with the guys, and you're going to have a splurge. Make sure that you check that meal off as one of your splurges. As you start going higher than 4 meals per week in that schedule as splurges, that's where you're not going to see accelerated results. That's where you're going to still maintain that body fat. So remember, edge towards eating only 4 splurges per week, and start focusing on eating healthy foods the rest of the time. The 80-20 rule is going to really skyrocket you, because that gives you that freedom that you want without restricting you all that much, and it makes you focus in on healthy foods for the remainder of the time. So those are the 5 habits. Now, I need you to make a promise for me. I need you to promise that you're going to take some action. Our most successful students, those are the ones that listen to what we have to say, apply it in their own lives, and then see results. If you don't take action immediately, if you don't take action on one of those 5 habits that we just covered, you're not going to see results. You're not going to get to the goals that you set for yourself in 2017. So go out and start working and start creating a great life. Join the Facebook group if you haven't already. Send me an email with any questions that you might have, because hey, like I said, I'm here for you. I promise I'll respond to every single email, and look, because I want to see you succeed, and I want to see you have a great 2017. We'll see you next video.